Hey y'all, welcome back. I know I just did one of these casual Katie get ready with me videos, but we're back for another one because I just got an exciting package in the mail yesterday from Odens, and it is their new collection, and I really want to sit down and play, and I'm not able to squeeze in any type of like formal review or whatnot this week, so I wanted to go ahead and just sit down and play with it and just show you guys what's in the collection, and then also that way I can get your feedback on if you want to see anything else with this collection, any future videos, and that's something I can take a little bit more time on and work on because I do have some ideas that might be fun because there are a lot of palettes in this collection. But before I get ahead of myself, let me just show you guys. This is the little card that they gave me, but it's a whole big collection. I don't have all the information on like prices and whatnot, but I'll show you everything that they sent me. They have an eyeshadow brush, the Saga of Freja. I know I'm butchering that, but that's the whole collection, and this is their 6-piece eye brush set. I'll have everything linked down below. I didn't even mention, but this was all sent in PR, so I'm very grateful and thankful to the brand. Thank you so much for sending it my way. But all these brushes we're going to be using today for sure. A really nice little travel container that they come with. Let's see, they also sent a bow, which my daughter is going to love, so that'll be fun to put in her hair. And it's got a little clip in the back to apply it. Yeah, just a cute little red bow. That's going to make my daughter so very happy. And then they also have, let's see, oh, a brush cleaner. One of these little, I don't know, brush cleaning sponges. I don't even know what you call them, but I have a couple of them from the Dollar Tree, from JCat Beauty, and I also had an Ulta one at one point. So I'm excited to have another one because all of my other ones are dirty. So I'll use this today as well. I have to give them a shout out that part of the stuff that they packaged, like the little bubble wrap, they have some ordinary ones, but they also had these cute little heart ones that were like tinted pink, which is oh so cute. Anyway, let's move on to the big part of this collection on what I'm excited for, but it is a bunch of eyeshadow palettes. Let's go ahead and just touch briefly on this little makeup bag. I think it's really nice. Let me get the palettes out. It's a really nice makeup bag. This is how it comes. It's like a velvety, very soft. It'll probably get dirty very quickly, but it is extremely beautiful. And when you open it up, you have a little place for brushes up here, but then you can also take these out and either use them individually. So you have two cases, or you can put them in here and then put the clear one in here. I don't know, just to organize it a bit more, but it's just a really nice little travel makeup container, and I know exactly who this is going to. I was just talking to one of my younger sisters about, and she was telling me about how she wanted a little makeup bag because the little bag she had was a little too small. So this will be a cute little gift for her. I cannot wait to hand off to her. So anyway, let's move on to the palettes. There are 4 different palettes kind of in my head because one of them is double-sided, but 3 palettes. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit confused when I opened this because the first one I opened was the double, and I opened it and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat that they have one side is like a neutral side, as you can see there, and then the other side is a more colorful side, and it's got green and orange. So I was like, that's very cool. And then I opened the other 2 and I was like, wait a minute. Here, let me show you the other 2 without showing you the one we just opened. But here are the other 2, and I was like, oh wait, that's kind of neat. Are they doing it where you can buy them together in like a little palette, or you can buy them individually? That's really cool. However, when I actually stuck them side by side, here's this palette against this palette, they're not identical. There are the little differences and whatnot between them. So they are, I believe, 4 separate palettes, but it took me so long to sit there and go back and forth. I was like, wait a minute. I'm very confused right now. As far as I can tell, even with the neutral side in the 2 palettes, they're different. They're very close, but they're different. And they're one of those like close but different where it's like, for me personally, if I was just looking at this online, I would not need all of them, or you know, both of the more colorful ones, because they're so close. I just need to decide one. However, there's like little aspects I like out of each of them, so it's like hard to choose. Kind of like my whole dilemma with the Sydney Grace and Temptalia collection that I talked about in last week's Will I Buy It? That's kind of how I feel with this collection. So that is a little bit all over the place for me when I'm going into this collection. But let's go ahead and just dive into this. This is Amber Tears palette, and it's like a very pinky neutral with a pop of purple, and that's probably gonna be purple as well, but it's like a neutral but leans, I don't know, a little pinky, a little bit warm. And then the little duo-sided, I think it's just called Sage of Freja Saga, or Sage. I always say Sage, but it's Saga. Freja Saga palette. And then this side has, this one I would call it more of like a mauve berry tone, and then this side is more like neutrals with a pop of orange and blue there. And then the last up is Cat's Breath palette, which is the palette that I think it attracts me the most. As much as I like this side of the, what is this? The Freja Saga palette, as much as I love this one is just a little more saturated, a little bit more colorful. So this is what I'm gonna use today. That's everything in the collection, but this is the one I'm gonna use on my eyes today. I'd love to hear what you guys would like to see with this collection. Would you like another video? I thought it might be fun to do like a palette bingo and use all of these palettes. That's the way I could get a look. Use all the palettes on camera. and that might be fun, but it also might be fun just to hold on to these two palettes that I'm not using in today's video and gift them to one of you guys in my next giveaway. So let me know your thoughts, but today I'm definitely going to be using Cat's Breath because it is gorgeous. Very, very pretty, and I can't wait to dive in. So let's just get going. I definitely want to try this color right here. It looks very chunky, but it's so interesting. It has such a mix of colors, as does this one, but this one has a little bit more of like blue and orange and amber that I'm curious to see what it'll look like. Let me go ahead and prime my eyes and then we can get right to it. Alright, so I am ready now. Let's talk about the brushes real quick. The handles are really pretty. The cut of the brushes themselves, I'm not the craziest about. They're a little bit, you know, they feel soft, but they're a little bit like hard, I guess. They're not like a soft taper to the sides of them. Not all of them, I should say, but we're gonna try them. I definitely will say though that like just visually speaking, they are beautiful. I love that ombre, very, very pretty. So let's go ahead and jump in. I have no idea what I want to do. I kind of want to do everything per usual, but I think I'm going to do really orange in my inner corner, and then I'm going to mix a combo of this on the outer corner and blend it out with this shade here. That's my plan. Let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to take a really pointed brush, I think. I feel like I want something between these two brushes to apply my inner shade, but we're just going to go with this tiny brush. It is called the FR6 if you're curious, and we're going to take that bright orange shade called Warmth and we're going to stick it right in here. I just picked this up from my UPS box yesterday. I knew they were shipping it to me, and I thought I'd have a few more days to like go get it because I was gonna get it last weekend, but I was like, you know what? They gave me a day of like when I can post by, so I was like, oh, I got time to grab it and then I'll, you know, do a collection with it, and I was super busy last weekend anyway. So I picked it up yesterday, and then I don't know if they kind of moved up the time and I just either missed the email or just, you know, they missed kind of announcing that the time was going to move up, but they ended up announcing it like this morning in the middle of the night, and now everyone's videos are going up and I'm like, oh, I think I'm a little late to this. So I'm sorry if I'm super late and you guys have already seen 1,000,001 videos on first impressions with this palette, but hopefully, like, I don't know, there's a, you know, 4 palettes in this collection, so hopefully I'm giving you something of a different look, or maybe using a different palette or using the palette in a different way so you guys can get a good idea. For the palette, I feel like, let me go ahead and use the brush cleaner. There we go. I'm just gonna clean it off a touch. Like, I don't want it fully clean, but I just don't want too much saturation of color because I want to see if I can just blend out this shade with the same brush. I would typically go with something a little bit bigger, just because, I don't know, I like to work quick, so something I don't have to be as careful. Like, I don't know, I feel like a clean brush, a clean, slightly bigger blending brush than this just does it so quickly, but this also works, as you can see. That shade went on super pigmented, super nice. I mean, I feel like I don't have to say it, it's like still super vibrant. I think I'm gonna bring it over just a touch more. I always do this, I'm always indecisive with how far I should bring it over, but I'm gonna do that. And then just continue blending it out. I do feel like I need, the type of brush I have in mind is obviously not clean because I'm looking around here and I'm not seeing the brush I want, but it's like this little brush here. This is the E6 or ES6 from Profusion, and I just feel like it lets me pack it on really nice, but then also I can do a good blending. Not that that other brush wasn't letting me blend, but I just feel like it was almost dragging the shade here because it is such a dense little pencil brush. I feel like this is better for like placing down color or like blending out the lower lash line. I don't know, I just feel like it messed it up just a hair there. So something a little bit more fluffy is kind of what I like for blending out my inner crease shade here. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. I'm gonna take Bad Temper. And I'm going to take, let's see, almost went to my other brushes. I'm trying to use all theirs just to give them a try. I'm going to take this from Odens FR3, and I'm going to put that on the outer corner. This is a bit bigger than I feel like I typically grab for these type of outer corner up into my crease shade. Maybe I just have small eyeballs, but it's just a little large than what I prefer. Not that it's a bad thing, just saying it's larger. I feel like smaller brushes just give me a little bit more grace because I'm so, I don't know, hasty all the time when I'm doing my eyes. I feel like I'm just always kind of going for it. And then, you know, with something this big of a brush, it can be disastrous. But anyway, I feel like I don't really have a topic to talk about in today's video because the video you guys saw on Tuesday, I filmed it yesterday. So I feel like I had, I was gabbing a lot in there, but today, I don't know, I just don't have as much. I feel like I've been so absent from social media besides, uploading, but I've just been really busy with gardening actually. I don't know if that's a topic you guys are at all interested in. I'm not saying like I would bring gardening to this channel and start to do regular videos on it. Not saying that at all. I'm just gonna go into catnip now and put that on top. I don't know if you'd like, for me to chat about what I'm growing and, successes or failures or whatnot during one of these type of get ready with me, if that'd be fun at all. But I've been having a lot of fun kind of getting the garden going, figuring out what plants grow well here. I'm in Florida, so I feel like it's a whole different ball game than I feel like most traditionally, like when you think of gardening and whatnot, you think the summer is where you grow everything, but for Florida, a lot of people, especially in this area, just don't grow a lot in the heat of the summer, like from now till August, just because it's so hot. You have a lot to combat with just the intense heat. And so I'm trying to grow my first garden when a lot of gardeners are just like, I'll give the soil a rest and I'll grow again in the winter, fall, or fall, winter. So that's been a little bit interesting. It just so happened that, when I got the bug to do a garden, it was not that it's impossible. A lot of people still grow, but I'm just saying in general, a lot of people who have gardens year round tend to take a few months off to let the soil rest, and they just do it during the hottest part of the year in Florida because it's just so difficult when it's very hot. It requires a lot of water. Sometimes some plants need shade, even like sun-living plants, because it's just so sunny in Florida, that sort of thing. But anyway, you'll have to let me know if you'd like to hear me chat about that, because it's definitely something I can talk about, let you guys know what kind of plants I'm doing. I also started a compost for kitchen scraps, and then, just paper products and dirt around the yard, and hopefully in the fall we'll rake up some leaves to put in there. But I just feel like compost is that one thing that growing up we always had chickens, so I always loved that we could throw our kitchen scraps out to the chickens and they would eat it and give us eggs in return, that kind of thing. But I don't have chickens here, so I've been kind of, I don't know, I always hate just throwing out my kitchen scraps after I'm done cooking and whatnot. So I was excited once we started garden. I was like, you know what, I want to do a compost so that I at least can throw vegetables and whatnot that I'm done cooking with or that have gone bad. I can throw it into that and get something from it and not just throw it in the trash. So I started that as well, and that's been fun. That's been interesting. I feel like composting is a whole big animal in and of itself. I've joined a composting group, and some people take it so seriously, and I'm just like, I want to throw this into my food into a bucket, and I just want it to turn to dirt. I don't need all the scientificness with composting, but you can get really scientific and technical with it apparently. So yeah, I've been doing that a lot, and that's just been keeping me very busy because trying to keep up with YouTube and then doing a garden as well. Trying to keep it very much with my children, and I've been doing a lot of it with my children. A lot of the planning and just not boring work, but a lot of the, prep work or planning or just maintenance that's kind of uninteresting or hard for the kids to help, I'll do when they're not around or sleeping or something like that. A lot of the planning is sleeping, and that happens to be when they're sleeping and whatnot, and I have the time to plan or to research and look up and learn about different plants. That's at night when I usually edit. So I've just been very busy between doing videos and gardening recently that it's been interesting to find the time, and I definitely feel like I've just stepped away from my Instagram as a whole just to be able to focus, because I don't know, something has to give. I couldn't keep up with it all. So definitely my Instagram, not only posting to Instagram, but also I feel like I'm never on Instagram stories. So I will say with Instagram stories, it's mainly because I don't have captions yet, and so I always feel bad posting a long story without captions, because I'm definitely someone, I use captions so much when other people do it, because it's just nice that I don't have to turn on the volume if I'm breastfeeding my little one and I want to know what they're saying. I can just read it. So I find captions very helpful, but I still don't have captions on Instagram, so I'm just kind of waiting for them to give it to me. I really don't know when that's gonna happen. I'm going to put on a little bit of glitter glue. This is applying really nicely. I'm very happy with how they blended together. I feel like it's very pretty. If it's a little rough at all, it's probably just me not taking the time to apply it well, and that's just me fault. I feel like I get a little, not impatient, but I'm just kind of, it's good enough for me, so I'm moving on, that kind of thing. Okay, Now I'm gonna go on with my shimmers. Like I said, I really wanna try this shade here. It just looks so interesting. Let me see what it looks like when swatched. Ooh, interesting. It's just like a highlighter shade. These shades trip me up. Ooh, it's like a silver gold. That's so pretty. I don't even know how to describe it. Let me see what Cat Star looks like. That's pretty. And then Bling. Might as well show you guys what the only other shimmer in the palette. I didn't even mention, but I love that there's so many mattes. This is a matte with glitter, just so you know. There are all of the colors. I'm going to do orange on the inner portion, and then I'll do green. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the lighter green or the darker green. We'll just get started and see, but I'm going to do it. I feel like I haven't done a whole look where it's kind of very uniform in the blend. I feel like I usually do where they pop, so we'll do something a little different today, for me at least. I've been looking into sourdough. That's something new for me. And I just began my sourdough, or began making my sourdough starter. It's like a week or two long process. So I just started it, and today I had the first feeding. If that sounds weird, just look up. Just look into sourdough a little bit, but basically I'm just kind of mixing it and making the yeast for the bread. But I always love sourdough bread from the bakery. It's so delicious. I love the crust, I love the crunch, and looking into sourdough, it sounds like it's really good for you health-wise as well. And so I want to learn how to make it. So I am beginning that. We'll see how that goes. And it sounds like, I didn't realize this until I started looking into making sourdough, but it sounds like you can make a lot of stuff with the sourdough starter. Yeah, and it makes it, you know, that's kind of like the yeast, the activation for it. So I'm really curious. I'm really becoming more and more interested on like making things for the home, and I'm honestly contemplating like canning and stuff like that, because I'd like to be a little bit more mindful of the type of food my family eats and the type of, you know, what we're buying and whatnot. And I don't know, as I'm getting more into gardening and the more fresh food and going to the farmer's market, it's like, man, it's all like around me. I could just take this and can it or preserve it in some way or make my own jelly and be so much more fresh and whatnot. So I've been contemplating that. That's a bit more of a investment, because you have to get like, you know, the canner, water bath, and all that sort of thing to be able to can. I'm sorry if you have like no interest in canning at all. This is probably very boring. But anyway, let's go ahead and put on the green now. I'm gonna go with the lighter green, and then if that's too light, I can top it with the darker green, just because. No other reason than that. But anyway, yeah, so I've been looking into that a lot. I'm finding so many amazing channels on like homemaking and whatnot. And this is a little bit light. I think I'm just gonna blend it into, use this kind of be the go-between for the two shades, because I think it's a little bit too light to take all the way over. Maybe? It's also a little sheer. It's very sparkly, but it looks a little sheer. Not surprisingly. I'm using a lot of pressure to pick it up. I've been finding so many amazing channels on YouTube for like homemaking and whatnot, and I think as the more I'm watching, the more I'm learning like all the things that I've been buying from the store aren't that hard, or not all the things, but a lot of the things that I buy from the store, like, you know, the one thing I'm that I've kind of determined, whatever you want to call it, to not buy from the store again is like condensed cream of chicken soup and whatnot. It's like so easy to make yourself, or just like, you know, prepare, you know, take an extra like 2-3 minutes to just throw it into your recipe, and it's like the same thing. And you know, I've been looking more and more into it, and it's like, wow, that's like so easy, and there's like a comfort in knowing that I know what's in the can, or you know, what's in the cream of whatever, cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, as opposed to whenever I buy it store-bought, it's always kind of like, ugh. I don't know, just maybe it's just a visual thing, but it never looks that appetizing. It's just kind of like, what is that congealed thing? I'm gonna take a touch of that darker green and pop it on the outer corner. Okay, that green is super chunky. I think I'm going to just dust it off with the dark green and not even bother with it, because you can't tell enough, in my opinion, between the two greens. Okay, I didn't let you guys know, but I went ahead and just stopped recording, and I went ahead and winged out my liner with a brown liquid liner and put on mascara, and now I'm going to take this ColourPop Puppy, see if there's anything left. It's like a neon orange liner. I have so much glitter fallout all over my face. I really should have taken 2 more seconds to apply a thick layer of like a bake under my eyes, because now, oh, this annoys me. Camera battery just died. Wonderful. This has been going great. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to my lower lashes. And I'm going to take this little brush right here. I'm going to take that. Actually, no. Oh, let me use my little cleaner. The cleaner works great. I feel like cleaners are pretty easy. I'm gonna take the darkest green on the other tiny brush and I'm gonna apply it right here. Wait, I was gonna use this for my inner corner. I'm all over the place, I'm so sorry. Anyway, the brush cleaner is great. I haven't really ever noticed much difference in brush cleaners, really. Like I said, I've owned 3 different ones from 3 different brands ranging from $1 to $10. I've never owned the high-end one from, what was it, oh, what was her brand name? I forget who originated them. Starts with a V, but I want to say Vera Bradley, and I know that's not right. Anyway, I've never tried the original, but this works great. So does the Dollar Tree one, so does the Ulta one, so does the JCat one. They do have different grit textures, I guess. This is the one from the Dollar Tree. It's very big. This is a lot more fine, and then this is from JCat. The one from Odens Eye reminds me of JCat's or Ulta. Ulta had a little bit more fine. So I guess maybe it depends on your personal preferences on what you like or not. I'm just taking that bigger brush and going to buff it out. Okay, then maybe this is a little too dense to buff out. Yeah, I probably should have just used this for the dark green anyway. But let me go ahead and clean up this brush, which is the tiny little FR4. I'm going to take a little bit more of that green, blend it in. I'm just gonna kind of mesh the two together. And then maybe I'll just take that big ol' blending brush that I never used and use that as a clean brush to diffuse the edges out. Let's see how that looks. So yeah, this is a really big blending brush. I'm gonna touch the teeniest bit of the light green in there. I tend to not use these type of brushes unless I'm going for like a super type of neutral, barely there look. And then yeah, I want something nice and big just to get the job done quickly with some like neutral color in my crease. I'm going to take that shade that I had swatched first that I was most interested in. I cleaned off the brush really well. I can still see green, so let's see how well that cleaned it. But I'm going to use this for my inner corner highlight. With brush cleaners like this, I tend to find that the color doesn't look like it comes off of the brush, like staining wise almost, but I don't really see a lot of transfer when I use the brush. Like I'm not seeing any added green or anything weird in my inner corner, which is what I want when it comes to a quick kind of clean brush cleaner like this. That is super pretty. This is gonna be very pretty all over the eyes as well. It's a little chunky, so I definitely think this is one that I don't wanna pile on too much, and I kinda wanna pick up enough of and smooth it over, almost like I'm pushing a cream product around, if that makes sense, instead of like patting it on and packing and building it up like a powder. But anyway, this is pretty much the look. Let me go back to that original orange. I feel like the shimmers are kind of, you know, keeping in vein with the shimmers that I tried in the only other Odens Eye palette I tried. They're very chunky, but they're very pretty, they're very shimmery, so if you like that type of look, they're very messy. And, you know, as long as you kind of go into it expecting that, it's not too bad. Let me go ahead and put on a lipstick from Odens Eye. I'm going to use this one. It's like a pinky neutral, and then we'll be all done. Okay, this had more like a brown neutral. I wouldn't really call this pinky neutral. Maybe a brown mauve. More so than the indicator says. Like I see that and I see a very pinky, almost a mauve. But on my lips, it's more brown. But that goes with this look, so I'm not bad. Just a little review on their lipsticks, and same with their liquid lipsticks. The little sticker they give you is usually far different from what the actual product looks like. So anyway, here's the completed look. I'm gonna go ahead and stick up close-ups right now for you guys while I really quickly put on some lower lash mascara, but I really like how everything turned out. The mattes definitely were a dream to work with. I was very happy with how all of the mattes performed. They're very pigmented, they blended out easily, but they went on super intense, and the only area that I saw anything weird was in the inner corner where, like I said, when I was trying to blend it out, I felt like I was moving the product around, but I completely think it's just because of the brush I was using. It's not the type of brush I typically use for a job like that, but honestly, you can't see it now. I blended it over with the type of brush I would typically use, and it's all great. Yeah, I love how everything turned out. The shimmers are beautiful. They're not my favorite. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're my favorite type of shimmer. They're definitely, you know, I just like something metallic and to look very shiny. So this being sparkly, while I think sparkle is beautiful, it always kind of annoys me with applying it because it's, you know, chunky and then also fallout throughout the day. I'm not gonna be able to tell you guys if there's fallout throughout the day because I'm starting off the day with so much fallout on my face. So that's definitely something I will update you guys in the review on this palette. But on the eyes, it's beautiful. It's just a little bit trickier to apply than a regular like shimmer or metallic shadow, but it's not that it's not that hard. I'm not saying it's a negative, but just so you're aware, they're a bit chunkier, so they take a little bit more work. But the mats are absolutely amazing. I love them. The brush collection, that's something else I can talk about. Also, the makeup bag I can't really give an opinion on, but the brush collection is very nice. I feel like it's going to depend on how much it is for me to say if it's worth it or not. I will say I feel like this blending brush, this brush, and these were my favorites. They worked really well. They're very soft, and they have, out of all the brushes, a little bit of a better cut. This blending brush is a little bit sharp, but not too bad. This one, for me personally, had a pretty severe cut. It felt soft, but it was just a little bit big for my preferences, as I said, and then this blending brush, it was kind of big and, you know, sharp cut. So they're just not my preferences. But with saying that, I will give it that they're extremely soft. All the brushes are very soft. Nothing felt scratchy. Nothing feels rough. I don't know the price offhand, so I can't really say if I recommend it, but the brushes are nice. If they're not too expensive, I would say I would put them on like BH Cosmetics. I feel like that's a pretty good comparison of like the softness of their bristles and the type of brush that they are. They make me think of that. So if the price is similar, I think they're worth it. Like I said, I don't know the price offhand. But anyway, those are all my thoughts on the collection. Let me know what you guys think down below. And as I said, let me know if there's anything else you guys would like to see me do with this collection. Would you like to see me do a palette bingo with all of these palettes? And then maybe also I can do it in the same video where I go through my collection and I swatch all of them with other palettes in my collection, and that way you can see if you already own these or not. Let me know your thoughts on this collection. Let me know what you think about it being so similar, like the two different sides in this little duo with these singular palettes. I feel like that's very interesting, but I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. And yeah, with all that said, that's gonna do it for me. I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.